You're listening to the Empire Network.
Hello, listeners all across the galaxies. This is Star Wars Wastelands. It is a beautiful day to be here discussing all of the fine news of the week with all of our fine listeners listening to us on the Empire Network or live on Channel 1138. I'm your host this evening, McMahon, and it is truly a pleasure to be here with all of you fine folks. Joining us this evening is our fine panel of esteemed colleagues. Jake, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm walking the subway right now and listening to somebody in the background. It seems moving a pile of rocks.
It seems like it. So there you go. We're going to have to start a checklist, a Wastelands bingo, as it were, for, fast food restaurants that have appeared on the show.
We got Burger
King crossed off in very epic fashion, and now we're crossing off Subway.
Yes.
But, yes, also
Excited.
Joining us on the panel is the man you would think would have, at some point, been the one to do the Subway run, or the Burger King run, or, just generally a food run. And that's my main man, Mondo. How you doing?
Man, what's going on, guys? Whoa, man, it sounds like someone's moving rocks. It sounds like someone's in a tornado.
Like I said, Jake's going to Subway on the Subway. That's what it is. Don't worry about it.
I'll try and mask the noise. There we
Man,
go.
how windy is it there?
It's
California.
fairly windy.
It's always windy.
Or are you just walking at a very brisk pace?
I'm actually running as fast as I can right now. No, I'm kidding.
Man.
You know what? I'd say you might be running as fast as you can, Jake. It's not our fault you're slow down.
Well, I've got a question though. Who gets that excited over a damn Subway sandwich?
Well, now hold on a minute,
roast
man.
Beef.
You gotta love a good Subway sandwich, man. Okay? You cannot go wrong with a nice... As long as the bread's fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. If the bread ain't fresh, the sandwich, just throw that crap in the garbage.
They say eat fresh, right?
That's right. They should
I'm
have
assuming
fresh
that
bread.
includes their bread.
Joining us at some point this evening will be Sage, as always. Unfortunately, he was the cause of the ruckus earlier. Yeah, he was making a very large ruckus. Unfortunately, he's in detention now.
Stop saying ruckus. You sound like a 1990s rap star.
I'm actually going with the. I'm actually going for the Principal and Breakfast Club.
Ah, nice one. I got that one.
The ruckus we're describing. It's a very loud ruckus.
He's filming an ad for Sage's rock moving company.
He will be with us at some point. Fresh in. Oh, I believe we've actually just got the man back himself. Sage, you with us now?
No, I actually... I think we lost
He's probably
Jake.
muted.
No, we still got Jake, but we lost Sage again. We had him, then we lost him. It's going to be that kind of night, folks. But don't worry. The rest of us will make up for it. As we fight to get Sage back here, we're going to... Oh, dear, I think I might have just accidentally hung up on him.
Nice. This is our host, ladies.
Do we have you back?
Yeah, I
Say
don't know
hi
for
to
how
our
long.
listeners.
Hello, everybody. I'm
That
alive.
was the most forced hello I've ever heard.
I'm alive.
What you can't see is the gun. You
I
can't
know. It's like he's holding him hostage right now. Say hello.
It's actually a blaster. It's a DL-44. It's being held just below the ribs in an upward trajectory.
He's going to be using it to fend off coyotes. So.
Fizz, you know my new place, and I'm going up what would be classified the front entrance, and Tucker, my dog, for those listeners that don't know, I get up to the top, and he grabs my shoe and throws it down the stairs.
That a boy.
And I'm just like, really? So I go down the stairs, get my shoe, go back up the stairs. He throws my other shoe down the stairs.
Well, your mistake was leaving the other shoe at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
Your dog is a troll.
And I couldn't find where it went. I think it might have went into the room. So I'm going to drive to pick up my lovely fiance while doing this in my slippers.
Slippers? Really? Slippers?
Sometimes
Once
we
we
have to
stop
make...
by Burger King on the way.
Why
Oh,
don't you?
God, no.
why don't-
Our Burger King budget is gone after our rent doubles. If you're buying Burger King, we'll stop.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing Subway, remember? We're crossing that one off the Wasteland's fast food bingo game.
Yeah,
Stop talking about food. You guys are making me hungry now.
I know. It's making me hungry, too.
Make a
Okay.
Ben and Jerry's
Well,
stop
before
right
we
now.
making
get
me
down
very
to the
hungry.
first order of business, Sage, you want to have a moment here at the top of the show?
Yeah. This is not Star Wars related, but as a Canadian,
Oh no.
I should probably be shot if I don't mention this. And that is a Canadian hero that some of you may know as
Deadpool. Oh.
No.
um,
No. Also Canadian, but no, not what we're talking about.
as Bret Hitman Hart.
I thought you were going to go with the excellence of execution first. But
The excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, WWE Hall of Famer, for my money, the best technical wrestler of all time, has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
That sucks.
As we know, 2016 and the end of 2015,
have not been kind.
especially to celebrities with the big C. So, I just want to take a moment to say, this man was my childhood hero growing up, one of them. And he means the world to me. His legend means the world to me. And I think that we would be... I'd be forever ashamed of us if I didn't take a chance to say our thoughts and our prayers are with Bret Hart and his family. And if there's anybody that can overcome this at his age, in his state, it would be, apologize for the fan 590 in the background, it would be Bret Hart.
Indeed. We are wishing him all of the best and a speedy recovery as he slaps a sharpshooter on the big C. But let's get on to let's get down to the first order of business. How about that?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan for sure. So let me start off with this. Okay, and I don't have my show notes in front of me.
Already we're off the show notes.
Yeah. Already we're off the show notes. Okay, well. Let's start off with this. I just moved, and Fizz, how long have I been going on about having my own little office / man cave?
I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's been a long time. I've stopped counting.
Realistically, the last half decade or so has been the time where it's really been out there as a legitimate possibility, and I finally have it. And those who have seen the pictures on
Future of Star Wars.
the Future of Star Wars Facebook group, I've had the opportunity to see what it is. You know, there's people with 10,000 times better man caves, and even if I had 10,000 times more Star Wars merchandise, which if you ask McMahon, under that desk there's more Star Wars merchandise hidden than what's on display, I have to say that I would never have, just put crap everywhere for the sake of putting crap everywhere.
He's hiding the very special Slave Leia poster. Don't worry about that.
Ooh. every guy's got some. Yeah, every guy has one of them. So
I can neither confirm or deny that. Uh,
He keeps it on. What he does is he puts it on the roof above his bed. Take that what you will, people.
I can't confirm or deny that either.
I can.
We'll have to take McMahon's word for it. However good or not good that is.
My word is unbreakable.
Oh.
Unbreakable is a very long time, Mike. Anyhow, I finally got it. Anybody who gets a chance to make their own Star Wars sort of man cave, room, office, whatever, take the chance. I stress mine's not just Star Wars, it's just heavily Star Wars around the computer area. It's pretty much what I've always wanted. I can't complain with any of the outcome, to say the least.
It is always a nice thing to have a room of your own in whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
I don't have one of those right now, and I'm working up to it pretty soon here, as I will be moving as well.
Again.
Now, are you moving in? Can you confirm your move plans, or that what you?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, I mean, Chris Sequel from the Star Wars Underworld and me and another person are looking for houses, and Chris just moved back to California just now. He has some temporary living arrangements, but I stopped by IHOP after work the night he got here, and we were there for 4 hours discussing our new living arrangements and plans and ideas. So as of now, it's heading that direction.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Maybe now we can get down to the real first order of business.
I don't have my show notes, so take it away.
Well, I do, so how about we jump right into the first order of business. This week's top 3. We're going to come at you with the top 3 Star Wars movie ideas that have nothing to do with already made characters. Right, this is each of us having our own. I'm going to go ahead and guess that not a single one of us has actually put any thought into this before this exact moment. So
actually,
hot seat.
I have.
So, what's the criteria?
Create your own story.
Based on that has nothing to do with any of the pre-existing Star Wars characters.
Indeed.
Yeah, whether it's canon or Legends.
All right.
Completely original.
Okay.
Jake, you're up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Throwing you from the frying pan into the fire.
I should stress, by the way, the show is a little raw tonight, and you've had the opportunity to listen to a more highly produced show lately. But between the move and everything going on, and McMahon was tied up this weekend too, and Jake's been busy, and Mondo is Mondo is Mondo, which is
and
hectic
in otherwise light news week.
We promise that it'll be a lot better next week. But yeah, continue, Jake. Have at it.
Jeez. Okay. My story goes... Yeah, I'm thinking on my feet here, guys, okay? I've always been obsessed with Coruscant and just the idea of the underworld of Coruscant, and this has been explored to some extent.
Why do you keep saying Coruscant? Do I need to start calling you Jake Lloyd?
How do you want to say it?
Coruscant.
Coruscant. Well, I've heard it said Coruscant before, and that's
wrong.
Yeah, in the making of
that's wrong.
Coruscant.
Coruscant, yeah.
Poor little Jakey.
Are you ordering a breakfast sandwich from Burger King?
I'll take the Coruscant, please, with cheese. No.
Can I get a Coruscant, please, with a little bit of Dantooine sprinkle on top of that?
A little Dantooine sauce on there.
Okay.
So this has been explored to an extent in Clone Wars. It's been explored, potentially explored in 1313, that canceled video game that is shelved currently and may come back to the surface. Who knows? But I would love a story about just your regular guy, your regular schmo, if you will, who lives down in the lower levels of Coruscant, and crime is rampant. You gotta steal to survive. It's really rough and tumble, dog eat dog.
I'm almost picturing like the Star Wars version of Heavy Rain. which I'd be all for, as long as it
never-
led somewhere.
Played Heavy Rain, so I don't know what it's about, but I know it's a game, right? I think.
It's about these two marshmallows who meet this apple,
No.
and the apple
No.
turns it into an orange, and then they have a family of tomatoes.
That just sounds like a episode
not-
of the Annoying Orange on YouTube.
That's my kind of movie right there.
Don't you worry, guys. I got a good one for you.
Anyway, so this guy just gets involved in this crazy crime spree, right? He just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They think he's part of the group when he's not. He ends up taking half the share, and well, not half the share, but part of the share. And they separate, but there's something that is connecting him to the crime, and the police are going after him, and he's got to make his way to the surface, where he finds a kind-hearted old Jedi Master who he's heard rumors about. He's going to help him clear his name. It's going to be one big adventure.
Cool. Well, we're going to actually keep it to one movie each, and we're going to give that much detail. So, Mondo, you're up.
All right. So my movie would be about the toys of Star Wars that come to life.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Haven't
the
seen
Toy
this anywhere
Story,
before.
Star Wars edition.
Hold on. There's a
Or
lot more.
Indian in the
Wait,
cupboard.
hang on, are we going to see a Star Wars Toy Story crossover?
And then, but what happens is, so one of the young Jedi has a toy that comes to life, and for his 10th birthday, he gets another toy, and the other toy gets highly jealous of the new toy and tries to kill him.
Is one a space ranger, and the other one a cowboy Jedi?
Man, this is
if you will?
gold. This is gold.
Canon.
Give me a screenplay of it.
No, okay, now that my joke is over, you guys got me. It was
Wait.
Toy Story.
What? Are you serious?
I can't believe that.
Now that you
I
mention it, I
Seriously?
can see
You're
the
joshing me.
similarities.
You're joshing me.
Kibbles
Maybe
and
I'm
red.
not. But no, I would like to
Is
see.
it bad that I just had images of little toy Black Series version of Kylo Ren just losing his crap and just
That's how he
taking
escapes
out
the
his
box.
toy lightsaber and beating the crap out of Buzz Lightyear's freaking paper spaceship and then taking Woody's hat and cutting it in half?
So this has turned into a rated R.
I feel really bad for the speaking spell. This isn't going to end well for him.
Hey, if I feel bad for any speaking spell that I get my hands on. Have you seen the way I type?
All right, I'm muting myself so I can order a Subway sandwich.
No,
listen.
the way that this works is you have to
you
order
have to tell
on
the world
air.
what you're getting, Jake. The world must know your sandwich.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. He totally muted us already. Unbelievable.
Oh,
You
that.
poser. You poser. You're fake.
He's
You're
not
fake.
actually at Subway. He's lying.
Oh, bow chicka wow wow. No, anyway,
Hello, I would like to get a 6-inch roast beef sandwich.
6-inch, Jake. 6-inch. Are you a real man?
can't hate on the roast.
I
Grow
guess I'll
some balls and get a foot long.
Yeah, but 6-inch, man?
Can you make it a foot long instead? I'll take.
Peer pressure!
Let's see, Italian urban
Jake
cheese.
just got pure pressured into ordering a bigger size sub. All right, somebody give some telemarketers this guy's number.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just one sandwich.
No, just one? What kind of man are you?
Let's see. I'll take it toasted.
Toasted.
And, I'll take
We will
pepper
pay you
jack
money
and
right now
Swiss
to
cheese.
ask her for a second sub if they'll mail it to
Yeah, toasted.
Canada.
Do you guys mail subs to Canada? Sorry, I'm on. That didn't look like I was crazy.
trying
Only
to
on
explain
Wastelands
us.
can you find this.
Don't try and
Alright.
explain us. Just.
You're going back on mute.
How dare
You
you?
peer pressured me into getting the 12-inch. That's where I draw the line.
Oh, man.
He's afraid we're gonna end up talking him into like hot peppers or something. That's
I'm
what
gonna
it
get the
really
pepper
is.
jack cheese.
Pepper jack, right?
Yeah, pepper jack and Swiss. Thanks.
Hey, is she cute?
Yeah, we're muted now.
All right, Mondo, continue with your movie. Actually, you know what? Your Toy Story went far enough. Fizz.
Okay, well, my story is about a down-on-his-luck teenager on Nar Shaddaa. And he gets himself caught up in the gang scene.
Yeah.
And his mother gets really sick and tired of it.
Okay.
So she sends him to live with his well-to-do aunt and uncle on Alderaan.
Whenabouts does this take place?
Whenabouts does this take place?
Yeah.
I don't know. My story just got all turned upside down.
Watch it be like 2 days before the Death Star blows it up. That's how the movie ends.
Or wait, no, the boy finds his way, makes something of himself, is getting ready to head back to Nar Shaddaa to pick up his mom, and the Death Star blows the planet up. Oh man, we're sick.
It's unfortunate because his cousin is there just dancing all the while.
You've lost me now. What does the cousin have to do with this?
I don't know, but the fact nobody's figured out I'm doing the Fresh Prince is hilarious.
Oh, right, I guess that is the Fresh Prince. How dare you not drop Uncle Phil?
A down on his luck. Come on, man.
I'm not going to lie. I've watched a lot of Fresh Prince as a kid, and I didn't even make the connection.
The Fresh Prince of Alderaan.
Wouldn't it be the... Yeah, no, I guess it would be the Fresh Prince of Alderaan. Yeah. Alrighty, well, that was terrible. I actually have a real movie idea.
I got really upset when Mondo started doing Toy Story. It's like, son of a monkey, he's stealing my bit. He's stealing my bit.
I don't get any credit for thinking on my feet about this.
Thinking on your feet for what?
About my movie idea.
Is it bad that I can't even remember this movie idea?
Oh, gosh. It's Oscar worthy.
A lot has happened since then.
Are there black people in this movie, Jake?
Asians, black people.
Then it's not Oscar worthy.
Oh, we're not going there.
Wow!
I don't know what to say.
McMahon,
shots fired.
Hold on, McMahon, how big is your sack right now that you brought that up?
We are not getting into this Oscar controversy. And by the way, The Revenant sucks. Just saying.
Shots fired.
So it's just Leo and a bear crawling around.
You
want to know what? You want to know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Leonardo DiCaprio fight the bear from the Cleveland show.
I don't know what that is. Anyway, so my idea.
Neither do a lot of people.
My idea would revolve around the first batch of Jedi Knights, and there would be 7 of them, an order of 7. Okay, and I won't lie, this idea comes from the rumor that came out a couple years ago.
We're making the 7 samurai? That's what we're doing here?
More or less, but it's the first 7 Jedi.
Original, Sean. We got to keep this original.
I thought the concept was original here.
They end up on a an enemy planet, or at least what they thought was a neutral planet, and they literally have the entire planet looking for them, and they're on the run, and they're trying to find a way off the planet, and they can't. And essentially, one by one, they get picked off. And out of the 7 Jedi, you obviously have a couple elderly, a couple in their prime, and one sort of young, very inexperienced one.
He's an infant.
Not an infant, but I mean...
I want to see a baby Jedi.
Someone in their early 20s who just doesn't have their crap together compared to the other 6.
So me.
All 6 of the 7 Jedi die in just sort of this all-out war film, survival film. And the one that survives is the kid who, hasn't really learned the way yet. And so he goes on to begin what would then be known as the Jedi Order. And it goes, that way we can establish that connection of just how friggin' terrible their morals are in the Jedi Order and how they led to their own destruction. Dumbasses. All right, I'm done.
Sean likes the Jedi.
He likes
I won't lie.
even more.
If I was a Force user, I'd be the worst Jedi ever. They kick me out. They kick me out and bring me back in just so they could kick me out again.
If I were a Jedi, I'd walk into Burger King and be like, I will get extra cheese.
I'd walk into Subway and double my order.
Why in the world do you need extra cheese?
What? You
world-
always need extra cheese.
Why in the world do you need to use a Jedi mind trick to get extra cheese?
Well,
Because I don't
ladies and
wanna
gentlemen,
pay for it.
I hate to do this, but I will be back probably in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We're going to get to the next topic. Oh, hang on. Before I go, though, the Force Bowl that we've been doing, the voting, will continue tomorrow. I've been out without internet for some time and just getting settled into the new place, but it will continue tomorrow, and we will have a Force Bowl winner on Super Bowl Sunday. So that will definitely be a lot of fun. We're going to get to the HoloNet, which is all the news in the Star Wars universe, news and rumors and spoilers and speculation, etc. And there's a pretty big bombshell that dropped this week, and I know that Mondo and McMahon are really looking forward to talking about it, maybe even Jake. So I wish you all the best on that. And Sage is peacing. Be back in a few.
We're gonna be canceled when he gets back.
Nah, if we survived your Toy Story and my Fresh Prince, we're golden. Okay. I'll admit, I really thought that when I started cracking there at the end, somebody was gonna be like, "Wait a minute," and then no, you didn't get it. But by that point, the cork was already off. I couldn't bring it back to reality, which stinks because I would have liked to have gotten all the way through that, and then somebody go, "Wait a minute."
All right. Oh
So
man.
yeah, yesterday, bomb dropped after Amazon Germany, I believe, let the cat out of the bag, putting up a little early, putting that one up a little early and announcing the Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oops.
We got a trailer yesterday, which I must add was just absolutely phenomenal. Huge Lego guy. Initial thoughts seeing the trailer, guys.
My initial thoughts is, why the hell didn't this come out with the movie? And the reason I say that is
pretty close to the movie.
that's kind of been the MO of the Lego movies. On the Lego movie games, is they'll launch right around the time of the movie. A little closer to it, but I'm highly looking forward to it. What I'm looking forward to the most is it's going to be more of a visual aid of the gap between
We'll get
episodes.
back to that particular subject. But just your initial thoughts of the trailer, specifically.
Why can't it be out now?
Amen.
Okay, Jake, what would you think?
I thought it was great. I love Lego video games. Lego video games are some of my favorite games, period, to play, especially Star Wars Lego. I thought the trailer was brilliant. It was a comedic take, beat for beat, of the initial trailer we got in November of 2014,
With,
that
of
famous
course,
trailer.
the Lego touch.
With the Lego touch, which was amazing. The only thing, I love the trailer. We're talking about the trailer right now. Let's keep going. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The little, the first time I watched it, I thought it was just absolutely phenomenal. And then I watched it back again and started to notice some of the little, the quirks. Ray Speeder, BB on board.
Oh yeah,
That I died looking at that. Okay.
Pretty funny.
That one was hilarious. Of course, Kylo's lightsaber not lighting up. It's the guards, then it's the blade, so he's, tapping it around, and then the whole thing pops out. Hilarious. Poe in the X-Wing! Pushing all of the buttons. There's toast, there's the radio, the seat goes up, the seat goes down, and the poor, poor man on his boat having to listen, just having to listen to the beautiful cantina music. The wipers. You can't forget the wipers. The cantina music playing as they do the drive-by on the lake, knocking the poor Ithorian into the water. I was expecting him to come back up with a shaking fist.
that really was the only thing they could have done to make that any better.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely phenomenal trailer, top to bottom. I loved it. I'm excited for it. I'm a huge... How can we not touch on the First Order troopers in the dropship?
Oh yeah,
It's actually a guy flickering the light until somebody throws a helmet at him.
And then he falls apart.
And then he falls apart in typical Lego brick fashion.
But you and I were talking about this when I picked up Lego Dimensions for Christmas, that we were kind of surprised that there was no Lego Star Wars content, because Star Wars started this whole Lego game craze.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember being upset. Like, you know how they have those test games at like Walmart and stuff that you can play.
Yeah.
That's how I got my first taste. I would go to Walmart. I'd want to go just so I could play the demo for Star Wars Lego when it came out.
I remember playing Lego Star Wars, if I remember correctly. The initial Lego Star Wars, it came out right before Episode 3 dropped.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I played the crap out of that game.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember... but it's just funny that, you know, I kind of feel like Lego's kind of gone full circle with this. You know, that's where they started, you know, with Star Wars. And it makes sense, and it's kind of poetic justice in a way, that for the exception of, is it Disney Infinity? They're going to have really the market on Episode 7 gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Unless EA does something, which at this point would probably be unlikely.
Unlikely.
Yeah, it's definitely they've definitely got a market cornered as far as, you know, gaming The Force Awakens. But, you know,
Now,
go ahead.
one thing I want to say is this is the first time I think Lego has done anything based around one episode or movie of something. Like, before we get all, like, movie, like the first Star Wars Lego was 3 movies, the prequels. Then we got the complete saga. In the Harry Potter movies, it's years 1 through 4, and then years 5 through 7, etc. You know, and this is the first time we actually get a Lego. I think anyway.
The closest would probably be Lego The Hobbit, which was just the book.
But they had
Lego
The Hobbit covered all 3 movies.
It
right?
did, but it's all one book.
Wow.
Is what I'm getting at.
But it's a huge
I guess
book.
It is a huge book. I'm not saying, you know, I'm saying this is the closest comparable we have.
Honestly, I think it's closer. I see where you're coming from. I would say it's closer comparable to Lego Batman.
I don't think so, because that's a self-contained.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
You know, the Star Warses and the Indiana Jones and the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings, you know, they occupy a different part of the Lego gaming world because they're not original. You know, they're telling stories that have already been told.
So my question is, how much are they actually putting into this game?
Well, it's a Lego game, so there's still going to be a lot. I mean,
well, I think I touched on this.
We'll move to that one next.
And I touched on that inadvertently during my opening. Sorry for the cough, guys. My allergies are killing me. You know, I think content-wise, I will say this. I did play quite a bit of Lego Jurassic World, which is one of their most recent ones, and what they were able to do with those games is go frame by frame practically with the movies, and they still cut quite a bit out, truthfully. So I think with Star Wars A being maybe a tad longer than Jurassic Park, and then with, you know, some of the other stuff, I'm not too concerned about the content at all. I actually think content's going to be there.
I think you're kind of set. I think you're going to get, you know, you're going to get your main story, you know, your main story missions to tell the story of The Force Awakens. The same as you get in any other, you know, Lego game that tells the story, which is going to tell you that, you know, the film through the actual game levels. But it's going to be the different worlds where you've got all of your additional content. You know, that's where you're going to have your races and things like that. My guess, you're probably going to have Jakku as one of the planets.
Oh, yeah.
And
the thing that interested me, the thing that interested me most about the article was they said that there's going to be elements in there that bridge the gap between 6 and 7.
And that's
what does that look
that's
like?
the big one. That's the big one. is, this was one of those things that kind of snuck out in that first report that nobody really, at the time, really kind of, well, is that for real? Or is that, what are they talking about here? And then you start reading more, more content and stuff about that. Game Informer has added their early preview, to the pre-sale pages on, I'm assuming it's the same on the GameStop website in America as it is on the EB Games website in Canada, in their little, Game Informer preview, and it makes heavy mention of that, having content that explains a bit about why the world is the way it is in Episode 7. That's the question, is what exactly are we going to get in that vein? What do you guys think we're going to get in that 6-7? What do you think we're going to learn that we didn't already know?
I don't even know where to begin.
Well, obviously they're not gonna. I'm pretty sure Disney is very guarded with certain tidbits of information. I truthfully, I can't even begin. Maybe some Han Solo and Leia backstory. Maybe some Kylo Ren backstory.
Mm-hmm. That's what I put my money on. It's something that you see, like Kylo Ren growing up or something like that. I don't know.
I truthfully almost don't see too much more than that, just because, too much of it could be kind of spoilery for Episode 8. And depending on where they decide to take the story for that. And that's actually something I've been thinking about a little bit since yesterday. Like I said, I think you're going to see a little bit of Kylo Ren. Not a whole lot, because I still think there's a lot of room for revealing stuff in Episode 8 and 9. And maybe we're going to get the Kylo turning part because it was mentioned in Episode 7. Maybe get some of the Luke training the new Jedi Order. Other than that, I don't know. It's that's a really good question.
It is a tough question, and that brings us to the next point. We know that EA falls under the everything they do is canon flag, but we don't know where these guys do. So, is everything we get going to be canon?
Well, no, because it's... unless you're just talking about a story purely.
Obviously, Lego falls under a different world where everything is painted with that funny brush. But everything that you happen is still based somewhere in canonical fact. You're not gonna all of a sudden... Exactly, but is the things that we learn from between 6 and 7, are they going to be canonically based?
I'm almost going to go on a limb and say most things that we get going forward that are major media are going to be canonized.
What about you, Jake?
I'd say that's pretty fair.
I don't expect we're going to get a whole heck of a lot of anything earth-shattering.
No.
In things that have happened between... I'd say, honestly, I think there's a chance we learn how Han and Chewie lost the Falcon. Because I feel like...
that would be cool.
I feel like that scene alone, it has to play out in, I'm assuming, a comical way. I think that's something that, done in a Lego environment, could be appropriate and humorous.
You're a genius, dude. You're a genius. I think they're going to do that.
I try. I wouldn't quite be shocked to see something with the Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that they kind of teased in The Force Awakens. They didn't really pay it off. Obviously, they're going to pay it off more in 8 and 9. I would hope, anyway. But I think maybe a mission with them... looking for something for Darth Plagueis. Excuse me.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
You mean Snoke?
Yeah, I definitely do. Brain, man. That's a...
Could be
whoops.
Plagueis.
That one slipped out. I didn't want it to. But for Snoke, I think would play well. But I think Ben brings up an excellent point that we'll probably get a level or parts about each of the main characters set before the game. You know, I think we're absolutely going to see Finn in as a stormtrooper. You know, I think you'll get something with him outside of just, you know, the raid at the beginning of the film, which led to his inevitable defection. You know, I think we're definitely going to learn about that. See a bit more about him being a stormtrooper. I would love to see, you know, Conja Club in there at some point. Because you know that, especially with how the Tell That to Conja Club meme has taken off, you know that it's going to be in this game. It has to be.
It has to be somewhere, yeah.
Another thing. This meme has taken on a life of its own, and it will have to be represented.
John Boyega has stated he will be returning to voice Finn in his Lego incarnation, which, does that mean brand new lines? Does that mean new dialogue? Obviously, I think that does. Otherwise, they just pull it straight from the movie. So I think that'd be cool, because they can mess around with new stuff. It's a safe bet that we're going to
get, you know, fresh dialogue from at least, you know, the main characters. I don't expect to see fresh Han Solo dialogue.
Isn't this a step up from pretty much anything Lego has done so far? It's evolved from grunts and snickering to dialogue pulled straight from the movie to now fresh dialogue, which I guess you could say they've used with like Batman Lego and stuff. But
yeah, with the Batman games, they've all been.
But I'm talking about things based on the movies.
Well, with Lego Jurassic World, they did pull dialogue straight from the movies on some, and for some characters, they actually did have to go back and re-record new stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it is kind of weird because some of the new stuff they're not the right voices, and you can really tell it's really stupid. But no, but you're absolutely right. So when these Lego games first came out, they were really simple, really short levels. I mean, the movies were what, 6 levels apiece?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they were relatively short. Not saying that. Excuse me. The newer ones are much different, but they're a lot more detailed, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is looking at the detail that they have to offer.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely this is definitely going to be a phenomenal. Like,
I'm actually getting 3 cookies.
There's 3 cookies, Jake.
You hear that?
Want those cookies?
Man, I want those cookies. They have the what do you call them? The raspberry cheesecake. Super good.
But yeah, there's absolutely a lot to. There's going to be a whole lot to this game. There's no debating that.
Bottom line, I'm excited for this game.
It's absolutely an exciting game. It comes out in June.
Yeah, and that's what kills me. It's like I don't know, like that, and that's the one thing that's a little atypical to me about this, is that, you know, normally the movies come out either with
cheesecake one,
or, you know, right after the movie comes out, and this is kind of a bit out there.
Chocolate chip.
The double chocolate or the regular?
Yeah, double chocolate. Yeah. White chocolate chip, or the white chip macadamia nut.
Now, did you see where there's actually going to be a gold or like a collector's edition of it?
I did. The deluxe edition.
Peanut butter?
Is what it's being called, at least up here, I believe.
The deluxe edition of what?
It's kind of like
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come with the season pass.
For Lego.
Yeah.
It's like what they're doing with Battlefront. They're calling it the deluxe edition. You get a season pass. I've never heard of you being able to do that with a Lego game before.
Well, I mean, you could get season passes before. I mean, I know that at least Lego Batman 3 also had a season pass.
It had a deluxe edition as well when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not just a Canadian thing.
No.
Wow. I mean, that sounds cool to me, though.
But Lego The Force Awakens Deluxe Edition has a nice custom designed cover,
Nice.
and it will also come with.
Does it show the cover?
Yeah, it's
it
just
has
gold.
A cover.
It's like a golden cover, which is pretty cool looking.
It's pretty dope.
That moment when you accidentally close out your browser with everything
Wow.
important in it.
Nice.
But I believe there's a Finn minifigure that comes with it, an exclusive Finn
That'd
minifigure
be cool.
that comes with the deluxe edition.
Thank you.
Yeah, here
Does
in the
Afro
States,
look off to you?
here in the States, it's only like $10 extra. It's honestly, truthfully, well worth the money for what you
Definitely
get
a
with it.
great deal.
Purchase. Oh, yeah.
You have to bear with me as I get my browser back up here, folks. Got all of my.
How long does it take to open up a browser, son?
Well, Jake, it takes a good long time when you're, using Skype and running Mixler and, and.
I don't need your excuses. I need results.
Well, you're gonna get. Damn it, Jake! I'm a technician, not a doctor.
Okay, Dr. McCoy.
Doc McStuffins!
Okay, let's. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about as far as Lego Star Wars Force Awakens goes?
Yes. I love Star Wars, and I love Lego. I love Lego video games.
It's
That's all I want to say.
hard to go wrong with both of those things, I guess. It's pretty,
Try and argue
pretty
with me.
darn hard too.
They're just so relaxing.
They
and
are. There's something about them.
They're relaxing. They're fun. And quite honestly, like, growing up, I was always a huge Jurassic Park fan. And I always wanted, and I know growing up, we had the Jurassic Park games on the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. But as time went on, the one thing that we didn't get much of is I feel like we didn't get like a really cool Jurassic Park feeling game. I mean, I know we had Turok and things like that, but with the Lego Jurassic World, honestly, it's the closest thing to a current style third person Jurassic Park game than we've had. So that's why I'm so excited about this. Is with the way that those games are now, it's gonna, people are like, oh, Legos, it's a kid's game, yada yada yada. It's
No.
it's going to feel, honestly, probably a lot closer to a Star Wars Force Awakens game than it does a Lego game.
There's definitely a lot. We'll definitely just have to wait as we draw closer to that beautiful date. Currently scheduled for release June 28th, 2016. Available on all major gaming consoles: 360, PS3, 4, Xbox One, and I don't think there's a Wii U release, but I could be mistaken.
I thought there was. I thought I saw one for every
better be.
single console out right
There
now,
is indeed a
including
Wii U
Vita,
Wii U version
D-
set to release, and 3DS also set to release
yeah.
on June 26th. Yeah, June 26th, 2016. That is the scheduled release date for that. And if you order the deluxe edition, you get the game, of course, the season pass, and an exclusive Finn FN2187 minifigure. Of course, that's while supplies last, so get down to your local EB, GameStop, or wherever you pre-order your games and put some down on that. So, let's move on to our next topic. I'm going to jump around a little bit because the next scheduled topic is one I know Sage very much wants to talk about, so we will hold off on that as long as we can and hope to get him back before we have to discuss that one. This week, it is being reported, we're starting to learn more and more about things that were cut from The Force Awakens. We are now learning that at one point, there was a Yoda scene, an actual scene with Yoda on the table. This came out At the American Cinema Editors Award, the Force Awakens editor Marianne Brandon revealed to Entertainment Tonight that Yoda had been considered for inclusion in Star Wars Episode 7, indicating that the idea went far enough to warrant a visit from the great Frank Oz. This is the quote. There was one point where we were actually thinking of Yoda in the film, and then we decided not to. Frank Oz came in for a day, did a whole bunch of Yoda, and he was over the moon to do it, and we were tickled pink. They don't exactly...
You mean
that
tickled
would have been
green?
the more appropriate thing to say, but, I was quoting, so I didn't want to go off book. Unfortunately, they didn't really elaborate on how, where, or why Yoda would have been there. Apparently, J.J. Abrams was the one who, of course, made the final decision not to include him. Are you upset that there was a Yoda scene planned that never happened?
Can I take a wild stab first of all and say that
that was going to be the next
scene
question,
he
but
might
you
have
go ahead
popped
and
up
jump it
in
down.
was oh okay was Rey's Force vision. I think that's probably the place they would have stuck that. Just my opinion. Also, you don't leave Yoda out of something. Okay. If it's something as big as The Force Awakens, you don't leave him out of something. He didn't leave him out of the Clone Wars. They didn't leave him out of Rebels.
I kind of wish they had,
Okay.
though.
You don't...
I've left them out of Rebels.
Wait, what?
Just based purely on the design.
Based on what? Yeah, it's a little jarring. But, I don't know, man. Why not leave him in there, It would have connected... It would have connected The Force Awakens in people's minds to the original trilogy all the more.
Indeed, there's no doubt that Yoda is one of those characters that, whether you know Star Wars or not, you know Yoda. He's right up there with Darth Vader in the pop culture lexicon. Of course you've got Darth Vader, who everyone on the planet knows who he is. You just know.
Which guy is that again?
Osmosis tells you who Darth Vader is. And Chewie is another one who's right up there in the pop lexicon. Right up there with Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
So, not having him there kind of felt a little weird.
Yeah. Now that we know he was going to be in there but isn't, I feel a lack of Yoda in The Force Awakens.
It definitely feels odd knowing that they had planned. I mean, it's one thing if you just, you never plan it, because of course, by this point, he is... very firmly deceased. There's no way little Yoda's gonna pop up in a brand new scene like, "Hey, I faked my death on Dagobah." Well, absolutely.
Well, Force Ghost would
outside
work
of
too.
something like that. But I have a hard time with the Force Ghost appearing, just because the only person that him appearing to that would actually make logical sense to me would be Luke. Because if he appears to Rey, it's just who's this weird green guy who speaks backwards?
When blue guy?
No, I'm pretty sure Yoda's green.
Not when he's a Force Ghost. No.
That is true. That is very true.
But either way, I mean, and I guess that's truthfully, that may have been one of the reasons they decided to exclude him. Is it made more sense to the story? I mean, you'd be honestly if Yoda talks to Rey, comes and looks at Rey and talks to her, Rey'd be freaked the fuck out.
Outside of his part, inside her vision. I mean, we know his voice is
Yeah, we know his voice is there, but
that's
I
tied
just
to the lightsaber. There's no arguing that. She sees those specific things because of that lightsaber. But having Yoda appear to her and actually converse with her, that would be very much a who is this little green guy with a blue hue? And why is he speaking backwards in nonsensical sentences?
Kermit? I mean, she probably would have looked up and said, "Kermit, did you not get enough tea?"
I don't think Kermit lives in a galaxy far, far away.
Someday you'll find it. The Outer Rim connection.
Yet effective.
But It was. And I don't know, does it suck that Yoda wasn't in the movie? Of course it does. Because before the movie came out, I was almost confident that he would show up in the movie somewhere. And technically he did, but not, physically. But it makes more sense, and you know what? I'm very happy with the movie, the way it turned out, the way that it all came together. So you can't really be upset that he wasn't there. I mean, I just don't see where it would have fit realistically.
I can be upset.
Indeed, it's unfortunate, but
Sean, how do you feel about this?
Keep us in the movie. Obi-Wan is more vocal in Empire Strikes Back than he is visual. Not by much, but by a little. So, I mean, I'm cool with not having it in. But we haven't seen the last Yoda.
Oh, of course we haven't seen the last Yoda. Yoda is a cash cow. Okay? Like, let's just be honest with each other. Yoda's green, and he brings in the green. Okay?
Probably could have said that in a much clearer way, but your point is clear.
It's Mondo. What are you gonna do?
And with that alone, you're gonna see more
there's
Yoda.
No doubt, we have not seen the last of Yoda.
And I'm not saying it's purely financial, but with it being such a financial, opportunity, I would be shocked if
there's no doubt
he didn't make an appearance.
To the whole panel that is Star Wars. Let's get back on to topic here. We jumped this one so that you could be a part of this discussion. Now that we're done with Yoda, let's go back to it. It was reported late last week from Making Star Wars that plans are in motion to bring a certain Legends character to the small screen in Star Wars Rebels. Yes, we are talking about the great Grand Admiral himself. Apparently the plans
Commander
are in
Thrawn.
place to get Thrawn on Rebels. Thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know much about Thrawn. I didn't read the Thrawn trilogy. I just know how awesome
he knows who he is, so he's not fired. Just do your homework, Jim.
Well, all I'm gonna say is this is inspiring me to read the Thrawn trilogy. I know I'll love it. I know I'll love the character.
No, don't read it. Listen to Mark Thompson's updated versions of the audiobook of not just that trilogy, but the Hand of Thrawn duology as well. There's 5 of them, and oh my god,
whichever
I'll do
method
it.
of ingestion
but
you
the
prefer.
fact that they're bringing this obvious fan favorite from the EU into canon now is going to get a lot of people excited, and I'm imagining some of those people are you guys.
It definitely. Mondo, what about you? What do you think about bringing Thrawn to Rebels?
I think this is actually exciting on multiple levels. I think, first of all, I think that this kind of shows that Disney has listened to the fans. They've listened to the outcry of some of these characters that so many Star Wars fans have a connection to, and they're trying to reincorporate them into the current story. And I do think that if this is successful, this may not be the only character that we see.
There's no doubt about that. It definitely opens up the door to bring in a host of Legends characters. I mean, I doubt we'll see the any of the Skywalkers or Solos or things like that. But everybody else now seems to be pretty close to fair game, and that excites me to no end. Thrawn is always a character that I, have been drawn to as a character. Reading his,
You've been drawn to.
I'm enthralled by Thrawn. He's a character that just reading those words, you can feel the gravitas. You can feel the intelligence, the cunning, the wit, and he is a character that is destined for, hopefully bigger and better things, and now we actually get a chance to, pull him out of the Legends cupboard, drop him into the canon drawer, and hopefully see him deployed in other media in the future going forward. I'm excited. I'm excited to no end. I can't wait to see him, but Sage, I imagine you have lots of thoughts on this subject, so go ahead.
This is literally the absolute biggest olive branch that Disney and Lucasfilm could extend the EU fans. There is no bigger EU character than Thrawn. Make no mistake about it.
Maybe Mara Jade.
No, not even Mara Jade. I'm sorry. The
Really?
fandom for her is big. The following for Thrawn
How many books about only
is
Mara Jade
just-
can you think
Mara Jade.
Well, the interesting thing is they go hand in hand because this is where Mara
of? Good old
appears.
Talon.
Talankar, yes. This is the biggest olive branch they could extend the EU fans, so long as they're not going to do the whole WWF, WCW thing. Let's bring them in and make them look like crap.
Woman Crush Wednesday.
No.
But, I mean, Thrawn, there is no character like Thrawn. Thrawn makes Tarkin look like a pup in terms of his just tactics. I'm stoked for this. Now, I've been somebody who has said for several months that I don't believe making Star Wars got as much right as other people like to give them credit for. And when I pointed a few things out that blindly went, shall we say, unnoticed, nobody ever, seemed to look back at that and explain it. Anyway, there's no doubt they got, a good 70% right in The Force Awakens, if we're just talking not necessarily heavy details, but basic plot, if not more. So for the love of God, please be right about this. Although I do believe Ben Hart from Star Wars Underworld said he was also hearing similar rumblings. I can't confirm that, but I do believe that he had said something along those lines. Here's the one thing you can't do, because it's titled Cameo. You can't bring Thrawn in and just have him as a background character. Do you want to have a slap in the face to the EU fans? That would be the way to do it. No.
I bet you.
Thrawn needs to come in and more or less replace Callus.
Well, the way I'd see it happening is he has some sort of small story arc, and then the end is a cliffhanger. Like, where does he end up? He's coming back somehow, and it'll get people excited.
I have a feeling that this is more or less to test the waters, and I think cameo, it may be a pretty suitable term for it. Kind of a test the waters, kind of dip the toe in, kind of see what the reaction is. Do the fans react more positively toward it, or do they act more negatively toward it? Because, let's be honest. People are, I hate to say it like this, but some people are just stupid, and they'll bitch about anything, and is it worth their time to go back and rewrite in some of these characters? Because that's what they're going to be doing.
See, for me to do Thrawn properly and stay true to the character, you can't do it with a cameo. You can't introduce him with a cameo. He needs to, to me, everyone keeps saying, well, something's got to happen to the Rebels. Something's got to happen to the Rebels. If you remember what Leia says in A New Hope, this is our most desperate hour. Okay? This is after they've already stolen the Death Star plans. Meaning, the Rebels go through some crap. Some crap that pretty much pushes them to the bridge. In terms of tactics, not Vader hunting Ahsoka and Kanan and company. I'm talking pure Empire versus Rebellion. Thrawn needs to be the guy that comes up there and squashes a lot of the rebellion's forces like a bug, just with his tactics.
Do you
and it would
think
be
this-
awesome to see Thrawn interact with Callus.
Will this open up a possibility of, say he doesn't die in Rebels or something stupid like that if he comes back sometime around the
Here's
new
what I'd
trilogy
say.
here?
If his name
I
is
don't think-
already Grand Admiral Thrawn,
No, they've confirmed it's Commander, I think, right?
have they? I haven't heard that.
Ben, look it up. Or does he already know? He probably already knows. Help us, Ben.
If it's Commander Thrawn, which would be similar to the Thrawn prequel, then I'd say you open the door for him to return. But if you're going to try to cast him in a movie, I don't.
He better be at least Admiral by then.
I can't confirm this. There's a lot of fans here of the audiobooks who've probably heard Mark Thompson's role as Thrawn. To me, the role he performs best. Nails it. Oh my god, it's bone chilling.
Is it a British accent?
It's Imperial, but
Like
with
very stately.
an intelligence level higher than that of guys like Sidious and Tarkin and Vader.
Wow. That's something to think about.
And the thing with Thrawn, with Thompson as Thrawn, Mark Thompson, he nailed the voice. To me, that's my Thrawn, which it pains me to announce here on Star Wars Wastelands, unless he's taking us for a ride. And don't forget that if Thrawn is appearing in Season 3 of Rebels, work's already happening on Season 3, as we speak. Mark Thompson has not been contacted to be the voice of Thrawn. I have reached out to Mark personally
I'm
to
going
ask,
to go ahead and go out on a
and
limb
that is...
and say that even if he had, I don't think you'd get that from him.
Obviously that's a given, but he didn't even know of it. I don't know if he's just not a big.
I think at this point it would still be in the writing stage.
A big.
So I could understand them not.
No,
depends on
absolutely
when it
not.
comes
From
in
what we
season.
understand is. From what we understand, 3 in terms of visuals would already be mostly put together with the way they work. But it's possible they haven't contacted him yet. But he was so floored by the news, he had asked me to provide him with with some links to it. So I think that pretty much sums up that it might not be Thrawn. However, it might give you some hope that if Thrawn is in Rogue One even, which is possible, perhaps they'd use the same actor that portrays him on screen, which would give you a reason to not have Mark Thompson
Well, I think Benicio del Toro
show up as Thrawn.
Already
Could
playing
be.
Thrawn.
Could be, and you know what? Thrawn's a chiss. Before people say, "Well, he's
a
aged
chiss.
35 years," he's a chiss. Okay, you'll notice it a little bit, but for the most part, he's going to look very damn similar.
What's their age? Like how does that work?
Just can live hundreds of years.
Wow.
So, to me, this is like if Thrawn appears in Rebels and he ends up being a reoccurring character, let's say next season of Rebels is 22 episodes, and Thrawn's going to be in 8 of them. All of a sudden, I can totally wait on episode 8 because my excitement for Rebels would be higher than what it is for episode 8.
The average
Dangerous though,
lifespan
because
of Chiss is up to 80 standard years.
interesting considering that in the novel,
80?
yeah, I have to question
That's
the
ridiculous.
source on that one because in the novel, what's it called here? And let's see here. It is called. having a hard time locating the title. I know this. It's a sequel, not a direct sequel, but a sequel to the Hand of Thrawn duology. And there is some elderly Sith well over a century old.
Chiss Sith.
So, Chiss Sith. Well, if you want one of those, go play the Old Republic.
Maybe it means up to 180 standard years.
So, no, I mean, I guess there could be rare exceptions. I mean, we don't even know Yoda's species, so.
Which you'd think by now we would. We've seen
anyway,
a half dozen of them.
Yeah, and for the love of God, I don't want to see a Yoda origin story. I don't.
Please,
don't need it. Release a cartoon if you want to do that. Have a young Yoda cartoon.
The only reason I think at some point we might see it, money.
Slap Star Wars on anything, you're gonna make money. You can slap Star Wars on a Gungam story, and you're still gonna make money.
Yeah, but I think with Yoda, so recognizable, so many, fans and so many, especially younger fans, for whatever reason they can relate to Yoda as well. I don't know. It's just, I'm not saying if it does happen, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. But if it does happen, I can see why it would happen.
I should also stress that those that aren't listening via the 1138 chat, if you're listening via YouTube, the founder of the Star Wars Underworld, Benjamin Hart, has clarified that making Star Wars does not specify his rank in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
But it's all but...
I believe you, Ben.
It's all but been confirmed that he is going to be in Rebels. There's a lot of people backing it up. Yeah.
I don't know what the source I heard then, but I definitely heard somewhere.
That's one of those things that's kind of been, just...
Did you hear it from the subway lady?
Yeah, she mentioned it
as
I was
checking. She heard oh, Commander Thrawn's going to be in Rebels next year. Okay. But no, I think that's just general people taking his title as Grand Admiral in the trilogy and walking it back to where he most likely would be at this stage of his career. And I'd say Commander's probably a fairly accurate descriptor for where he'd be. I mean,
see, it depends on when he came into play. I mean, everything's different now, right? Anything's fair game. If he came in just a few years after the Clone Wars, I guess a few years after the Clone Wars, then in 15, 20 years, he could have easily climbed up to Grand Admiral. We'll see. I mean, to me, if the character's going to die at some point during Rebels, a few seasons down the road, then you need to have him as Grand Admiral. If he's not, and you intend to have him appear later, then I think you can get away with him being commander.
I think we're going
whatever.
to see, for me, I think we're going to get a one episode. We're going to get one episode, and he's going to play a very pivotal role in that episode, where, of course, at the end, he's going to be thwarted or stopped, what have you.
See, I think we'll get one episode in the first half of the season.
That's where it's going to come to reaction.
And then more in the second half.
How did the fan base react? And assuming the fan base takes it as well as I'd hope they would, then it certainly slams that door wide open and says, all right, we can do a bit more with him next year.
See, I don't think they'll wait a whole year. I think it'll be the first half. Rebels has a tendency of introducing something in the first half and finishing it off in the second half.
What if we get a special between-season episode of, just centering around Thrawn?
That'd be amazing. Have it 40 minutes long. Although that seems like the perfect place to introduce Thrawn. Season premiere. You have your 40-minute thing, which is not classified as an episode. Introduce them there, and if it goes over well, introduce them, a couple more times during the season.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, let's move on. We only have one topic, so we'll all talk about it today for the
we still
the
have
Outer Rim.
More topics.
And
yes, we do. They're fairly short ones.
Well,
we're doing good.
We're running short on time.
Here.
Okay, we're running short on.
We're doing good.
The time is short. We want to try to keep it down.
John Boyega.
Okay, what are the topics here?
Week. Twitter and such.
Don't care. He'll say anything, and he shouldn't be
He'll
because
say anything.
the last thing he should be doing is picking up a lightsaber because he might be the worst swordsman ever. Just saying. Anybody that doesn't like what I say, go rewatch The Force Awakens.
Well, he wasn't trained
Enough said.
in any. He clearly was not trained in those particular battle plans. I mean, the guy was a sanitation worker.
I just don't see the point for sword training. I mean, I guess if he's going to use a sword and not a lightsaber, sure. But I don't want to see Finn be a Force user. You don't need Force user galore.
The comics have gone ahead and shown us that Han Solo wielding a lightsaber.
He wielded a
It's
lightsaber
still-
for
it
all of
happened.
2 seconds.
You don't need to be a Force user to use a lightsaber. Fact.
True story. I don't know why people got so hung up on that. Like, I kept hearing people go, well, they're not a Force user, therefore they can't use the lightsaber. What are you talking about? It's got an on button. Anybody can
Well,
do it.
it's a Jedi
My dog
weapon.
can do it.
Don't touch the Jedi weapon. Leave the Jedi
So
weapon
what?
alone. Come out with
Unless-
a vibro sword.
What? Not everybody has a vibro sword next to them.
You know, I
And okay, hang on. Rey had no training. I'm sorry. You let me know when you find proof that Rey's had no training.
Well, Rey is also
Then we'll
an
talk.
adept who is said to be the next chosen one. So, you know.
That's like comparing Michael Jordan to Muggsy Bogues.
Rey wasn't really good with the sword until
Just saying.
after she took her breath and became one with the Force.
Which I think works for everybody, right?
you know
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cool that Boyega is training for stuff. Is it possible that he's doing sword training for another role?
That's possible. But I mean, if he should be filming
Always a
episode 8 right
possibility,
now,
but
so.
the timeline doesn't add up.
I'll say
role
this:
would he be
we don't
filming
need
for?
more lightsabers because we're gonna have Luke, we're gonna have Rey. Let's see some hand-to-hand combat. Let's see, the guns, but get into close quarters,
But I heard he got complete.
and let's see Rey take on Phasma hand-to-hand.
I think we might
That'd be
end
cool.
up seeing Finn
Do you think?
wield
Hold on.
I can't remember the technical name, but the riot sword. And of course that requires
that's possible.
sword training. It's still wielded like a blade. And would make perfect sense for him to have seen exactly what that thing can do to be like, yeah, I can fight with this. But enough about John Boyega. Let's move on to the reports from, I believe, Germany at an expo, which featured the Lego sets for upcoming Star Wars releases, including Rogue One, featuring Slave One. Thoughts on that? Slave One in Rogue One.
Yes.
I don't think you should have Slave One without Boba Fett.
Stupid. Whatever, Sean.
Um,
Disagree.
I disagree with you.
I disagree with both of you guys disagreeing with each other. So agree.
Wow, there's a lot of disagreeing going on right now. I disagree with that.
I'll tell you this. You want to sell Rogue One to the Star Wars fan? Throw it there. Oh, yeah, by the way, not only do we have Vader, but Fett's going to pop up at some point.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, we already know that the
Why is that
Empire is
ugly?
set
Are
to
you-
hire
are you a Boba
bounty
hater?
hunters.
I'm a Boba lover. I'm the biggest. I have a Boba Fett wallet, son.
Okay, Ben just mentioned the one exception. If Hondo snuck his way into Rogue One,
Yes.
totally
that's
would be
better.
cool with
Do
that.
we know
Much better.
who would have had Slave One at this point? Because I mean, I'd
Current
have to
timeline,
imagine
no.
that.
That's the
that,
cool part.
Wouldn't Boba have it back by now? I mean, if
More
if,
than
if we're
likely,
as close
but-
to 4 as we think we are, you'd kind of think that he'd have Slave One back by now. But
I
that
agree.
said, we do
Yeah.
know that they do hire
I mean-
bounty hunters, right? At some point in Rogue One.
Maybe this is where the disintegrations
It
will
makes
come
perfect
from.
sense. That's a line. That's a very underrated line. That is one of those ones that maybe we should explain that. you know, and this is a perfect example for it. And Boba Fett is somebody they could throw in there as a bounty hunter, or even someone who maybe just walks away from the contract. There's not enough money in it for him.
Okay, here's one thing I wanted to mention about Rogue One, and everybody in the chat too, chime in on this. How awesome would it be? Just one scene. That's it. One scene. Even if it's a hologram. But one scene of Vader or somebody reporting to Palpatine. One more scene with Ian McDiarmid. McDiarmid, pardon me. McDiarmid. Ian McDiarmid.
That's a tough... It certainly
Timeline
does.
allows for it to happen.
But that one's kind of a tough sell.
I mean...
Why not? That'd be interesting.
To me, he's one of the best actors in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, yeah. He kills it as the Emperor.
I just don't know where you could bring him out.
I mean, if you're using...
No, I mean, if you don't do it now, I don't know where you can bring him back.
It's hard to say because we really can't, fully speculate about the different anthology films. It's hard to say where they're going to go with those. I'm.
One would assume we would see a
I'm
younger.
Sure, if I am in a Vegas casino right now that takes bets on Star Wars futures, I am very much putting my money on. At some point, we are going to see Mr. McDiarmid as Palpatine again. I'm aware of that, Jake. I'm just, hammering that home. That's a thing
He's
now.
totally covering his
McDiarmid
own
is
ass
a
here.
thing.
He was not.
Just ask Mr.
I like
Ben Hart,
it.
who has suggested, yes, more Ian McDiarmid. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Why can't it be something as simple as a hologram that you see for 5 seconds?
Okay, see, I don't want 5 seconds. That's pointless.
Okay, 7 seconds.
Have like Ben Mendelsohn's character, he goes to report to Tarkin or somebody of that level, and they're like, the Emperor wants to speak with you. I mean, Star Wars fans just hearing that would be like, oh my god, yes, come on. I would love it. Want some more of that mad in the house.
I'm about to leave.
McDiarmid, to be
Kidding.
to be exact.
Yes.
Are you guys pro that or not that? I mean, I'm
it's
shocked
not
that you don't want that.
I mean, I absolutely want to see more McDiarmid. But at this point now, I'm just doing it to bug you.
Poor Jake.
Succeeding.
I mean, I absolutely want to see more of him.
That's okay. They spell color with a U.
We're Canadian. That's how we
We spell color with a U, pardon me.
Okay, and for the record,
You said
it's
you.
just the Americans that are.
I'm not a
weird
Canadian
like that.
anymore.
Like, they drop letters and words all the time, and then look at the rest of the world like, huh? Like pineapple. Did you know pineapple everywhere else in the world is not called a pineapple? It's true.
I do now.
It's true. Oh, I'd have to Google.
What's it called?
It's not pineapple.
Isn't it
Well,
just
how
called
do-
like a...
That's the
It's
dumbest
a
thing I've
Hawaii-
ever heard.
It's a Hawaiian apple.
Because I
Then-
saw.
then
a
how do
thing
you know it's
on
not
the other day?
Oh, let me say big man here. I order pineapple on my pizza all the time. It's definitely
it's
called
a North
pineapple.
America thing. Literally
So,
everywhere else in the world, it's not pineapple. It's
Oh, okay. See, because you just implied
no,
it's not
no,
pineapple in
it's-
Canada.
it's-
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've been ordering pineapple on my pizza for the last 20 plus years.
Thank you. At least somebody else does
pineapple
that.
on pizza.
Nothing wrong with it at all. Pineapple on anything else? Not so much.
Not so much.
Pineapple on
flavored
ham.
things artificially are the worst abominations of processed food.
Yeah, I guess pineapple on ham would be the one other exception.
Pineapple soda is...
I like pineapple on like pineapple sundaes. If the pineapple's good enough, like if
everywhere
it's
else
sweet
in
enough.
the world, it is called ananas. Weird name.
Ananas.
But-
there you go. Because that's what we called it in New Guinea, too.
I thought ananas was more of like a
the back end of the word bananas.
All right,
The
Fizz, what do we
last
have next? What's the
topic
last topic in the Hollow-Man?
Is Rogue One. We are 3 days away from the big game. Super Bowl Sunday this week. Rogue One Super Bowl teaser. I'm
4
saying
days.
3 days from everyone who's not listening to us live. So we're about 3 days
Gotcha.
away from the big game. 3 hours and 30 minutes. How does that sound? Away from the big game at this point. So we really don't know anything else. Rogue One Super Bowl teaser, yes, no, maybe.
Mm-mm. Nope. It was rumored. Somebody on Collider Movie Talk then said that it wasn't happening, so I don't know. I don't know what to believe, but it'd be cool if it was a
Actually,
surprise.
Collider Movie Talk said that they think it is happening.
No, well, they did initially.
Well, as of yesterday, Harloff and Campia were in the. I haven't
Yeah,
seen today's episode,
Things
but
changed,
Watch
man.
today's episode.
Things changed.
24 hours can happen.
Hey,
A
what a
lot can happen in
difference a
24
day
hours.
makes.
well, what did they say?
I think Campia just said that he said that he has a source or something like that that said it wasn't happening. So
Yes, well, Campia's other source also said that Snoke looked identical to
Well,
Plagueis.
we will
and-
find
Yeah.
out in just a
So-
few short days during the big game.
he did apologize profusely for that, and he doesn't make that many mistakes.
Oh, Benjamin Hart, you are my hero.
I think it's a mistake for them to not.
Ben, you just made me die. I love this. I'm sharing this immediately.
What am I
The longer
missing?
you look,
It
the longer
really
you look
does
at it,
get
the
so
funnier.
much funnier the more you listen and watch it. Ian McCrimmon.
What am I missing?
Go look in the Future of Star Wars Facebook group.
Gotcha.
It's
Someone's
the
listening to
Subway.
Adele,
It's
by the way.
Subway.
Oh
Still
yeah,
listening to Adele.
it's Subway. E fresh.
Anyway, let's move on then. The outer room. Last topic of the night. I have to ask you guys, what is your first experience ever with a Star Wars video game? Let's start with Jake.
That would be Star Wars Lego, the original. Absolutely obsessed with that
Way to
game.
date me.
Still obsessed. I'm trying to think if I had any other experience, and I don't. Any other first
Alright.
experience?
All right, Mondo.
My first Star Wars video game experience was a game called Star Wars 32X. It was actually it was actually bundled with the 32X gaming systems. And for those of you who don't know what the 32X was, it was an add-on that basically allowed your Sega Genesis to play more graphical games. And all the game was, it was basically you played the Trench Run over and over and over again.
Huh, that sounds familiar. Oh, episode 4, episode 7, Trench Run over and over. Yo.
I mean, it had like some other thing, like it had some missions building up to it, but
I must have missed the trench run in episode 7 everybody keeps talking about, so.
Dude, it's like
You know.
10 seconds, but it's there. It's
Yeah.
there.
That's not
They
a trench
fly
run, sorry.
into a trench. Therefore,
Honestly, I
trench
like-
run. Quit arguing.
That's more
Did
like
anybody else
it's
think
more
it
like
looked
a,
awesome?
It's more
The
like
headlight.
a trench drive-by.
Oh my gosh.
That's what we'll call it, a trench drive-by.
Drive-by shoot.
Fizz,
I thought
your
it-
first experience with a Star Wars game.
SNES.
Whoa.
As is mine.
Probably because
We have the
I'd say
same
there's about a
one.
90%
Man,
chance
love
we played
those
it
games.
I think all of these first experiences line up with our ages pretty well.
Love those games. People, if you have a Super Nintendo lying around, you can go find those games. They're worth a couple of bucks, by the way.
I always heard Super Nintendo or the Super Star Wars wasn't that good.
They weren't. They weren't.
I loved them. But the boss battles were...
They are
hard
one of
as
those
hell.
games, Jake, where if you didn't play them as a child, you will not have those fond memories because it's the fond memories that make you remember the crappiest games as the best games you've ever played.
No, you'll still love it. It's Star Wars. It totally
I guess I'll have to try it.
you could actually, if you own a PS4 right now, they actually re-released the original Super Star Wars on that. Why it didn't come out for the one as well shocks me. But I've actually contemplated buying Super Star Wars.
Awesome.
Love those games. I like the Empire better than A New Hope personally, but
Super Star Wars?
yeah.
Gotcha.
They were both better
But,
than Return
I
of
mean-
the Jedi.
Movie-wise too. Yeah. So they were what they were, and they were both decent for what it was. Time to get on to the trench run here, which is closing thoughts. Tune in to Hyperspace Gaming this week. You'll have a chance to listen to us talk about Gears of War 1, the multiplayer on it. That'll be up shortly. And don't forget that you can check out the activity going on at the Future Star Wars Facebook group. You can check us out on Twitter or the Star Wars Wastelands Facebook page. We will have the Force Bowl rounds 2, 3, and final coming up this week, starting tomorrow. And don't forget that you can catch the Star Wars Underworld tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern on channel 1138. If you're listening to this Thursday, you can catch them tonight. So tune into them. Great show. Then you
It's
have
an okay show.
IPC Saturdays.
Kidding, Ben.
Tune into Geek Talk next week. Comes on before this. Tony and Thomas and the boys have at her. I don't really have anything else to plug here. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. You know, Wednesday night's always fun to come out here and talk some Star Wars with some friends, and just have a good time.
Awesome.
Always,
Fizz,
always
thanks for
a
hosting,
pleasure.
buddy.
Always a pleasure.
And last but not least, Ben, no more excuses on your unpaid rent. Tell that to Conja Club.
Enjoy the great
Good night.
Ian McCrimmon.
McCrimmon.